What's up, YouTube? This is your boy Thomas back again with another rendition of Truth Be Told. Now this week we just have a few things to discuss and then we'll get on to your B-movie reviews. First thing I want to talk about is I saw the whole press conference thing where the reporter goes and asked Trump if he's going to pardon Joe Exotic, you know, and I was like, what the hell? I mean, is he really asking him about the Tiger King? And sure enough, he was. He asked him if he had seen it and if he was going to pardon Joe Exotic. Oh my God, it was just dumber than shit. I couldn't believe it. This reporter did that. And I love Trump's response. He's like, I'll look into it. You know, like, he don't give a shit, you know. Anyways, I just thought that was funny. I didn't know if any of you had seen that or not. It was just dumber than shit. Moving on. Next thing I want to talk about is, I don't know if you guys have seen a show called The Amazing Race. It's been on for years, since the early 2000s. But I had seen that there were other versions of this in different countries, and I thought, oh, really? You know, I'll check those out and see what they're like, you know, if they're anything similar or different. You have The Amazing Race in Australia. You have The Amazing Race in Asia. And then you have The Amazing Race in Canada. I don't think any of the offshoots are going anymore, though. I think they stopped them. I'm not sure. Australia may still be going, but I'm pretty sure Asia and Canada aren't doing it anymore. Now, Australia, it was pretty much basically the same. You know, they travel around the world and, you know, did their various tasks and stuff. Wasn't really a whole lot of a big difference. Now Asia, The Amazing Race Asia, same thing for the most part. They really didn't have any real changes or anything. It's pretty much the same thing. However, most of the contestants were like, yeah, it says Amazing Race Asia, but they were literally, most of them were all like Malaysian or what was the other one that I saw a lot of from Singapore and Indonesia. It's like Malaysian, Indonesia, and Singapore. You saw a lot of those. Now you got various other countries, but not many. Most of them were from those countries, those three countries. So that was the only difference there. And then the Canada version, don't even bother watching it. It's terrible. They don't give you a prize at the end of every leg, and everything is done in Canada. They don't go out of the country. They don't go across the world. They stay in Canada the entire time. So it's really, Canada sucked. I didn't care for Canada's version at all. Anyway, but I enjoy, you know, the American version quite a bit. I watch it almost every season. Now, I didn't start watching it until they were well into their 20th, somewhere in their 20th season. But I started watching it and I got kind of hooked. Just, I really like the show. My biggest concern is you always have that one couple, that one group that you just cannot stand. You can't wait for them to get the hell off the show. for instance, two main couples that I really don't care for that you get every season. The one is where the woman is like constantly complaining, bitching, and moaning and whining throughout the entire race, and she's putting the blame on her partner throughout the entire race. It's nothing to do with her. She's better than them, blah, 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 yet she hardly does anything. Then you have the other type of couple that really irritates me, where it's a woman and a man, whether they're married or boyfriend, girlfriend, or whatever, and the guy is literally doing practically every roadblock and every detour that they have to do. I mean, literally everything. And the other one just pretty much stands there. But she claims she's the one that's doing it all, blah, blah, blah. That irritates me more than anything. I can't stand, those type of couples where the woman hardly does shit. And the guy's literally doing it all for her. It's like, why would you want a partner like that when they don't do anything? It's just dumb. But anyways, that's my opinion on The Amazing Race and the different types of Amazing Races. Just got done watching this new version of The Invisible Man, done by Blumhouse, which Blumhouse is a terrible company. I can't stand them. They suck. I don't like most of their movies. Excuse me. This one's no exception. It's a really, really terrible movie. The story's bad, really bad. And I saw it was a 50-50. Some were praising it, and others were like, this is terrible, blah, blah, blah. When I saw, reviews on it. The majority was that they were it was terrible. But I couldn't understand why some of these people were like praising it, because it literally was bad horror writing. It went way off the original story of The Invisible Man. A completely different story. It was more of a drama. It was about domestic violence or domestic abuse is what it was about. Basically, the so-called husband or ex, is trying to take shit out on her. She believes something's going on, but she don't know what's going on. The one who plays the main character, the woman, Elizabeth Moss, I think she overacted her part, and it just made her character look dumb. She did a shitty job as acting for this part. Now, Harriet Dreyer, the one who plays her sister, I really like this actress. She's really good, and she does an excellent part. I also liked their show In Between, which they canceled on NBC, which really sucked. I thought that was a good show, but whatever. And then you have Alice Hodge, which is a black actor. He didn't do too bad either. I thought he was fairly decent. But the story, the villain, the supposed ex, he's in there for like a whole 10 minutes towards the end. That's literally it. And it shows him running, bashing the car at the very beginning of the movie. But other than that, he's not in it. Come to find out, it's the brother who's actually wearing this supposed suit, trying to get her to act like she's crazy and shit. What's bad is most domestic violence isn't done by the majority. It's switched. It's literally 50-50 now. You know, women do it too nowadays. They're reported more. But the thing is it's a drama. It's not a sci-fi horror. Not even close. Yeah, you know, I kept do these scenes where they'd show like a place in the living room, like, okay, now we gotta wait to see if something happens or moves or whatever, you know. It just made no sense. Then, you know, if you had a suit like that kind of power, would you really use it just to stalk your ex? You know, I don't know. That was kind of dumb to me. I mean, you could sell it, make millions. You could be doing other kind of shit. And then, who makes a house like this guy does, where it's literally a fortress to keep her trapped inside the house? Yeah, I'm not buying that either. It was dumb. It was poorly done. It shouldn't have been about domestic abuse if you were going to make a horror movie. That's just dumb. Anyways, 2 thumbs down. I absolutely hated this movie. It was terrible. Moving on. I just got done watching the second season of Titans, DC's Titans. The first season was alright, except for the whole Starfire bit, you know, the gender swapping and all that shit needs to stop. I mean, she looks terrible with that red hair. I mean, it's more like a purplish red. I don't know what you call it, magenta or whatever kind of color of hair that is. It looked terrible on her. At least they had the curls right, curly hair right. It's actually, I didn't think it was really that bad. The second season, however, that's a whole different ball of wax. Starfire, the black chick who plays her, which she's supposed to be white, she straightened her hair out. It's still the same god-awful color. It's terrible. Terrible, terrible. I don't know. This, you know, I thought they were going to do something big with the whole Trigon thing, but then they ended it with the very first episode. I was like, well, you know, they had this big build-up, and then they ended it with the very first episode. It was just dumb. So the rest of the season, they're basically, it's mainly about, you know, Lex Luthor's little group called Camus or whatever the hell, Camicus or whatever the hell that stupid company is, some genetic company or whatever. The guy who played the Superboy, you know, I actually liked him. I thought he was alright. In Crypto. They weren't bad, but yeah, it was mainly about them, and the other part was the whole Deathstroke thing. They brung Deathstroke in. Now, I knew Deathstroke had a son, but I don't think he had a daughter in comics. I have no idea. I'm not a huge, you know, big Deathstroke fan, but I'm not sure about the daughter, if he actually ever had a daughter in the comic books or not. I think they just added that in there. However, the guy they chose to play the part, I mean, he looked dead on like Deathstroke. So that, I give them kudos for that. They nailed that for sure. The suit was okay. I didn't mind the suit except for the mask. The mask didn't look right to me. The rest of the suit was fine. Um, the whole thing with the son dying and then jumping into bodies is like all of a sudden him and his daughter have like superpowers too. It didn't make any sense because I don't remember that in the comic books. Only he's the one who took the serum, super soldier serum. So I you know, that didn't make no sense to me. But anyways, another thing, you can't really kill off Deathstroke. I'm sorry, he doesn't die that easily. But they made it look like, you know, he's dead. Like they just stab him and then it's done. I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. I don't believe that with the shit. So for the most part, it was alright. There are just a few things that just didn't mesh well. They left a lot of plot holes in this season, and a lot of it didn't make a whole lot of sense. But you know where they're going with the third season. You know they're going to do this whole Starfire story with her and her sister battling it out. So, I don't know. The second season kind of fell flat for me. I mean, it was okay, but it wasn't nearly as good as the first season. And the last thing I want to say about the Titans is I don't know. I really never cared for Hawk and Dove, honestly, if I'm being honest. I don't care for their characters. Yeah, the chick who's playing Dove is hot, but whoop-de-fucking-do. Their characters are very boring, and I'm getting tired of seeing them. They're just two people going around beating people up because they're trying to stay away from a drug addiction. Yank, yank. Get rid of them. They don't need to be in it. The Donna Troy character was okay. Doesn't really do it for me, but whatever. The Beast Boy, he's alright. He don't bother me. Raven. This girl, seriously, does a horrible job as Raven. Just a terrible Raven. I really wish they'd get someone else to play that part because this actress sucks. She don't even look the part. And then last but not least is Dick Grayson, which I'm okay with. He don't bother me either. He's kind of a dick, a real dick though, to his group. The guy who played Batman, well, not really Batman, Bruce Wayne. You don't ever see him in the bat suit. Yeah, he's a big actor. You know, he don't bother me all that much. But seeing him, I can't see him as Bruce Wayne though. He doesn't come off as a Bruce Wayne type to me. And that's pretty much all I have to say about the show. Hopefully the third season might be a little bit better and they make a few changes because they really need to. Alright, movie holics, let's get on to your B-movie reviews. This week is Action Week. We've come around to Action Week again. The first one, a few people have heard about it, but not a lot. In fact, I think there's a lot of people who didn't realize that he actually did this movie. So, this is a Sylvester Stallone movie, and it's called Cobra. It was done in 1986. It brought in about $50 million, which is pretty damn good back then. Now, also started Bridget Nelson and Brian Thompson, which I love Brian Thompson. He's one of my favorite, bad guys. Plays the bad guy in a lot of movies. Really cool dude. But anyway, Cobra. It's basically about there's this gang that's led by Brian Thompson, which is a not really a motorcycle gang, but kinda. Another term they call themselves like the Axe Gang or whatever, because they're all the time running around with these axes. But they're a group of serial killers going around killing people in the city, and they're terrorizing the city. And one night there's a model. She happens to see his face and see the gang attacking somebody. And through the rest of the movie, you know, Brian Thompson and his gang, they're trying to kill her because she's seen their faces. Of course, Sylvester Stallone plays the badass cop, you know, who goes around, gets the job done no matter what, you know, and he's assigned to protect her. And long story short, you know, there's a bunch of gunfights and action scenes where they're trying to kill them. You know, towards the end, there's this big fight scene between him and Brian Thompson. But, you know, Cobra saves the day, or Sylvester Stallone, whatever. Anyway, it's a good movie. It's a good action flick. I really enjoyed it. I definitely give it 2 thumbs up. Definitely give this one a try if you like action flicks, because you'll like it. The next one we're going to talk about is another one that some people have heard about. It's got a cult following. It's called Remo Williams, The Adventure Begins, and it was made in 1985. This is based off a series of books, a book series called The Destroyer or whatever. I never did read the books. It only made about 14 million. I mean, they made their money back and stuff. So it did okay, but it really didn't do all that great at the box office. But over the years, this film has gained a cult following, and they've tried to, I wouldn't say remake the movie. What they've tried is, they've tried a couple television series where they've changed things a little bit, and they didn't work out too well because they didn't follow the premises of the original movie. Fred Ward stars in this movie, and is, you know, the Korean guy is actually a white guy. He's not Korean. It's played by Joel Grey. They put makeup on him to look Korean. But the chemistry between them two is really funny. I mean, they had a lot of comedic scenes in it besides the action, which made it a really good movie. And of course, the main actress in this is Kate McGrew. You might know her from if you've ever watched Star Trek. She played Captain Janeway of Star Trek Voyager. Anyway, this is about, basically, you know, Fred Ward plays this cop at the very beginning, and they kill, not him, but they make it look like they kill him, so everybody thinks he's dead. They supposedly change his face, which he only had a mustache, you know, originally. Now he doesn't have a mustache, so they really didn't change his face. I mean, but supposedly he's supposed to go through facial surgery or whatever, and they change his face. The only thing I had was, you know, he's asking, there's only three of them. There's an old white guy, the black guy, and him. And when he asks the old white guy who's supposed to be in charge, he says, we're all there is of this organization, blah, blah, blah. But the president knows about it, and yada, yada, yada. You know, we're super, super secret, you know, that kind of thing. And he's like, really? Like, this is it? Seriously? Which I too would have been like, yeah, okay, if you say so. We're so secret, the only person who knows about us is the president. You know, yeah, okay. Anyways, through most of the movie, the Korean guy, which is actually a white guy, he's training Remo Williams through most of the movie, while Kate's character, she plays some lieutenant in the army or something. She's trying to figure out why these guns, which are sold by this man named Gordon or his company, are blowing up in front of the soldiers' faces. So she starts doing a little bit of investigating, and she starts digging in this Gordon guy. Well, at the same time, the old man who's supposedly running the organization, he's also digging into this Gordon guy, who's funding, or who's getting tons of funds from the government to supply him with these weapons. But he's also got some secret project he keeps promising that they have, blah, 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 and they're getting ready to show. But he really has nothing there. It's a hoax. He's just saying that so he can get more funds from the government. He grabs Remo and sends him out on a reconnaissance mission. Sorry, can't speak. Reconnaissance mission to see the actual prototypes, because this guy claims he has a prototype. But they have to sneak in there to look because it's supposedly top secret. Some type of satellite thing that's able to guide missiles or some shit. Come to find out it's all fake. They blow up the prototype. They end up killing the black guy. Remo then decides he's gonna bring down this guy, and he goes after him in this military base where, you know, Kate's at. Kate gets involved with, you know, Fred Ward. You know, they end up trying to help each other, while Gordon and his henchmen are trying to kill them. So there's, you know, they eventually expose Gordon for what he is, but at the same time they assassinate him because they're basically, you know, Fred Ward and this Korean dude are basically hired assassins, supposedly for our government. Anyways, they kill him, and then that's the end, basically the end of the movie. Everybody goes on about their merry little way. He's kind of like 007, sort of. He's not part of the, you know, he's like the American version of the 007. But supposedly he's supposed to be like this super secret spy or assassin, whatever, agent, whatever. But that's pretty much the gist of the movie. It's not a bad movie. They even have a big old action scene done around, like, some construction around the Statue of Liberty, which is pretty neat fight scene. But like I said, the comedy in it's pretty good. The chemistry between Fred Ward and Joel Grey, the guy who plays the little Korean guy, is pretty funny. Uh, it's a good action movie, you know. It kind of reminds me of like Indiana Jones, that kind of thing, action adventure. So I definitely give it 2 thumbs up. It's a really great movie. You'll really enjoy this movie. I'm telling you, it's really good. The 80s had some of the best movies ever. Anything after that, it's just been mediocre, or just, you know, here lately, the past, you know, I'd say 15 years, you know, we've been getting a lot of crap and horrible storytelling, or a bunch of remakes that just that aren't really remakes. They didn't really stick to the main material and retell the tale like it should have been done. You know, they keep rewriting and gender swapping, Hollywood, race swapping, all that crap. You know, Hollywood's gotten too political, and you see it in their movies. But yeah, this is an awesome movie. Definitely check it out. Again, 2 thumbs up. That's all I have for you this week. I'll see you next week with a couple of fantasy flicks. Next week is fantasy week. If you have any suggestions of something you want me to review, you know, some old type of movie, a gem that I might have missed, might not have ever seen, go ahead and leave your suggestions down in the comments below, and I'll get to it as soon as I can and give you my take on it. Anyways, that's all for now. I told you you'd be told the truth, and you've just been told.